Okay, can't show anybody what's in that closet. It's a secret. Part two of my thoughts about these first two episodes. I know I've given this answer in quite a few interviews about like what one of the things that this show has really meant in adapting it from the book to the screen. And this episode two, Holston's pick, is the thing I was really most excited about with creating the show, and that was rectifying a problem with how the books were released. The way the books came out, there was Juliet didn't exist as a character when I wrote Wool. It was just Holston and Allison's story, and somewhat, the secondary characters like Mayor Johns and Deputy Marnes. But it was really a love story between Holston and Allison. And after the first little short story took off and people wanted more, I had no one to write about because they were all gone. Like I said, spoilers in this video. And it was in the second part that I already knew that like Johns and Marnes needed their story told, but they weren't going to be the ones that the show was going to be about. And I started thinking about the show, the book rather started as a story about the up top, and I wanted to bring a protagonist from the bottom into the story. So the idea for Juliet was born, and there's no overlap in the books between her and Holston. There's mention of like why Holston wanted her as sheriff, because they had worked on a case together in the Down Deep, looking into the death of her boyfriend George, and that's pretty much it. There's very little in the books about what happened between the two of them. And this is what's been so exciting about doing this for TV rather than film. I've read two different drafts of the of Wool being adapted for the big screen, and both times she's had to cut a lot of the story out to make it work. There's a lot that happens, and it was like 500 pages of this book. So moving to TV was liberating. We got to suddenly, instead of what do we get rid of, what can we add? How do we breathe more space and life into the story? And being in that the writer's room was a fun chance to say like, hey, can we have an episode about this case they worked on and get Holston and Juliet on screen together. And everybody loved the idea, and the script, I think, came out amazing. And to see these two phenomenal actors, I mean, what can you say about David and Rashida? Their performances and the pilot are unbelievable, and David's power in episode two, and how he just anchors every scene. It's something to watch. I mean, I wish we could have him back for so many more episodes. That guy is just a treasure. Having him and Rebecca playing off each other was just incredible. So that's my big takeaway for episode two. I love how quickly Juliet takes Holston into her confidence. Like, it's such a leap. It's unbelievable. There's something, and I like to think that there's a real quick exchange with Hank, who, what a perfect deputy, right? To have like the deputy in the Down Deep have this long hair, and he's a giant. He is so tall. But he's like just this really likable guy. And he's part of the system, but he's one of the Down Deepers, this incredible, like two worlds that he lives in. But he has this one throwaway line where he's gonna take Juliet's word for this. He's gonna call someone up, and he mentions, "I'll call the sheriff. He's a good guy," and you can almost feel that he's vouching for him, and that whatever defenses, and Lord knows Juliet has a bunch of them, and Rebecca plays that so well. She's just is not someone to let people in. I think this little bit of uh, she gets a little bit of confidence, I think, from Hank, that this is a guy to be trusted. And frankly, she's desperate, and Judicial's worse. So she's going to tell him things that she probably shouldn't, but where else can she go? Um, and when they're down in such a private space, George's space, and he has not been gone long. She was just down there with him. This is a fresh wound, and they start putting this mystery together. It leads up to this moment that I think is one of the most incredible moments of these first two episodes. And it's when he's got George's printout in his hand, and he reads the title, and we know what that is from the interaction between Bernard and Allison in the pilot, how to, recover deleted files. And while he's looking at it, you can see the writing on the back. And Juliet says, "There's writing on the back. That's not George's." And Holston says, "It's my wife's." Man, I could watch that scene over and over, just watching Juliet's gears turn. You feel like up to this point, Juliet is the one keeping all the secrets from Holston. She's got all the information. She knows about George. She knows about their relationship. This is her secret place. And he's like, one of his lines on the way in is, "I'm from the up top, and I've never heard about this place." And he's serious. He's got this fish out of water feel to him. And in that moment, everything turns. He's the one who's like, "Yeah, I know about your relationship. I picked up on the watch." And we start flashing back to all these previous things, and we see like the detective that Holston was. We don't have to have seasons of David playing Holston to know what kinds of cases that he would have handled and how he would have done them, the way he treats people, how quiet he is, how he doesn't miss anything, how he redirects Deputy Marnes and Hank just to get them out of the way. How when he's looking at George's wrists, he's not even looking at the wrist. Go back and watch that scene in the morgue. He's looking straight at Juliet the whole time. He's not looking at the body. He's watching her reaction to it. Same as when he says, "Would you mind coming and look at the body with me?" He's watching her reaction. And in that moment, when he says, "That's my wife's handwriting," and, "Oh yeah, I knew George," man, it's such good TV. There's just so much nuance and so much backstory, and it really rewards seeing it a second time. So that's my thought about episode 2. It's having the two of them in a scene together, and it's that moment in particular where Allison is there with them, George is there with them. They're both connecting over the people that they've lost, and it turns out those people that they've lost have a connection with each other. And it just is like it's a lightning bolt in that moment. Anyway, I loved it. I hope you are enjoying. And now, like you guys, I have to wait a few days to see episode 3 and see what jumps out to me there. Love to hear your thoughts. Leave a thought in the comments if there's something that jumped out to you or what you think about any of this. And hope you're enjoying hearing me like process watching something from my imagination from over a decade ago now be played out by Apple and this incredible cast and these amazing sets, the score and the sound editing. Everything has just been like it's surreal to me to have this level of production on something that started off as a 99-cent short story I self-published while I was working in a bookstore, and here we are. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Peace.